11 plus best programming languages to learn in 2022-2023. If you're new to the field of software development, the toughest part of learning programming languages and choosing the best mobile app development languages is deciding where to begin in 2022. There are more than 1,000 programming languages to learn in 2022 and thousands of mobile app development languages, each of which has its own complexity and ability. The good news is that as you start your career as a software developer or mobile app developer, you'll start to discover which programming language will be perfect for you, your interests, and your career goals. In 2022, the software companies are expanding their business in the whole world, and every business needs employees, so if you chose the best programming language in 2022, you should definitely get a perfect job in the software company. One thing that is most important is more than 2 billion people have their own mobile phones. That's why you can clearly watch the scope of the mobile app development, and if you want to be a good mobile app developer, you have to choose the best programming language for mobile apps 2022. In this article, we listed below some of the best and most in-demand programming languages in 2022 for many of the most common use cases, including mobile apps development languages, web development, game development, and more. Best programming languages to learn in 2022-2023. Here is the list of the 11 best programming languages to learn in 2022 and 2022. 1. JavaScript. It's nearly impossible to be a good software developer these days without using JavaScript in some way. According to Stack Overflow's 2021 developer survey, JavaScript is the most famous and popular language among developers for the 8th year in a row. Nearly 70% of survey respondents reported that they had used JavaScript in the past year. Along with HTML and CSS, JavaScript is crucial to front-end web development. Most of the web's most famous sites, from Facebook, Gmail to Twitter, and YouTube, depend on JavaScript to create interactive web pages and dynamically display content to users. Although JavaScript is firstly a front-end language run on the browser, it can also be used on the server side through Node.js to build scalable network applications. Node.js is compatible with Mac OS X, Linux, Sun OS, and Windows. Because JavaScript has an easy-going, flexible syntax and works across all major browsers, it is one of the friendliest helpful programming languages for beginners. 2. Swift. If you're focused on Apple products and mobile app development, Swift is a perfect place to start. In the world of ISO app development, Swift is one of the best programming languages for ISO app development. First announced by Apple in 2014, Swift is a relatively new programming language used to develop iOS and macOS applications. Swift has been optimized for performance and built from the ground up to match the realities of the latest iOS development. Not only does iOS run on every iPhone and iPad, but it's also the basis for other operating systems such as watchOS, for Apple Watches, and tvOS, for Apple TVs. In addition, Apple isn't going anywhere as a tech industry leader, and iOS apps continue to be the most profitable in the mobile app marketplace. In the year 2022, Swift is the second best programming language to learn 2022. 3. Scala. If you're friendly with Java, a classic programming language in its own right, it's worth checking out its modern similar language, Scala. Scala combines the best features of Java, such as its object-oriented structure and its lightning-fast JVM runtime environment, with a modern twist. It is considered one of the best mobile app development language. As a useful programming language, Scala permits engineers to elevate the quality of their own code to take after pure math. Scala allows for side-by-side programming, allowing complex procedures to be executed in parallel. Furthermore, it is a strongly typed language. Engineers can easily create and customize their own data types, allowing them to have peace of mind knowing entire swaths of bugs are impossible at runtime. 4. Go. One of the core languages recommended by Google, Go is the little language that could. Considered as a low-level language, Go is perfect for engineers who want to enter the field of systems programming. It encloses much of the same functionality of C and C++ without the difficult syntax and steep learning curve. It's the ideal language for building web servers, and even machine learning packages. As a compiled language, Go runs close to the metal, allowing for a blazing fast runtime. It's an open-source language, and ambitious developers can see their personal contributions adopted and enjoyed by programmers worldwide. 5. Python. Python is the most user-friendly programming language of any on this list. It's often said that Python's syntax is clear, intuitive, and almost English-like, which, like Java, makes it a most popular choice for beginners. Also, like Java, Python has a variety of applications that make it a versatile language, a powerful option when choosing the perfect programming language for your use case. If you're focused on back-end web development, for example, then the open-source Django framework, written in Python, is the most popular, very easy to learn, and feature-rich. Django has been used in the development of some popular sites like Mozilla and Instagram. Python also has packages such as NumPy and SciPy that are commonly used in the fields of scientific computing and engineering. Other Python libraries such as TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn, and OpenCV are used to build programs in data science, machine learning, and computer vision. Python's science and data applications make it a perfect choice for the academically inclined. Python is also considered one of the best mobile app development languages. 6. Elm. One of the youngest languages on our list, what began as a Harvard student's thesis has now grown to become a point of passion for front-end developers around the world, and its popularity has gone increasing day by day in the world. Elm compiles JavaScript, making it perfect for building fast executing UIs with zero errors at runtime. Elm is a useful programming language, allowing developers to create client-side interfaces without the declarative accessory of HTML and CSS. Furthermore, the Elm web architecture was the intellectual inspiration for Redux, the state management library taught here at Fullstack. 7. Ruby. Ruby is another scripting language that's most commonly used for web development. In particular, it's used as the root for the famous Ruby on Rails web application framework. Beginners often lean toward Ruby because it has a reputation for having one of the friendliest and most helpful user communities. In addition to the active community and its straightforward syntax, Ruby is also the most used and better language to pick up thanks to its association with great tech businesses. Twitter, Airbnb, Bloomberg, Shopify, and countless other startups have all built their websites using Ruby on Rails at some point. 8. C#. Like C++, C# is a general-purpose, object-oriented language built on the foundations of C. It was originally designed by Microsoft as part of its .NET framework for building Windows applications. C# uses a syntax that's most similar to other C-derived languages such as C++, so it's become easy to pick up if you're coming from another language in the C family. C# is not only the go-to for Microsoft app development, but it's also the language mobile developers use to build cross-platform apps on the Xamarin platform. Additionally, anyone who is focused on VR development should consider learning C#. C# is the most recommended language for building 3D and 2D video games using the famous Unity game engine, which produces 1/3 of the top games on the market. 9. Rust. Rust may be a little bit of an upstart among the opposite languages on this list, but that doesn't mean it's not a valuable language to find out. Stack Overflow's 2020 developer survey found that Rust was the foremost loved programming language among developers for the 5th year in a row, with 86.1% of Rust developers saying that they need to continue working with it. Developed by the popular corporation Mozilla Corporation, Rust, like C and C++, is intended primarily for low-level systems programming. What Rust adds to the mix, however, is an emphasis on speed and security. Rust emphasizes writing safe code by preventing programs from accessing parts of memory that they shouldn't, which can cause unexpected behavior and system crashes. The advantages of Rust mean that other big tech companies, such as Dropbox and Coursera, are already starting to use it internally. While it may be a bit more difficult to master than other beginner languages, Rust programming skills are likely to pay off handsomely, as the language's popularity will only continue to rise in the near future. 10. Java. Java is an object-oriented and general-purpose programming language which used in many platforms, but the most important part of the programming language is its code does not need recompilation to run on any platform. In 2020, a survey report says that Java is the most used and most popular language, and also now 2022 it was a popular and most helpful programming language used by over 9 million programmers. 11. Objective-C. The forerunner of Swift, this app programming language was built as an extension of the object-oriented programming language C, with the same properties. Developed in 1984, it is one of the most helpful programming languages at that time, but now it is a general-purpose programming language still compatible with Mac OS and iOS, and was the primary iOS coding language before Swift came around. It is always a comparison between Swift and Objective-C in the terms of readability, coding, execution time, code maintenance, and so on. Conclusion. In the field of software development and web development, programmers have to know all of the programming languages. But according to your goal, you can choose some of them. Nowadays, a website is the most important part of our business, and to create a better website you need to know the programming. We tried our best to find out all the latest and best information for the better development of our readers, so if you are looking for more amazing posts like this, you can visit another amazing post on this site.